Happy 2023, knife people. Hit like and subscribe if you want me to keep doing this stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to pull the plug. My viewership's up. My membership is up. My view time is up. But YouTube has cut my revenue in half. So all my metrics are going up while revenue's going down. And I don't know why. I know that it started once I added in a couple gun reviews. They just start taking away money. And none of my stuff has been deemed not viewable, or they haven't taken away monetization. It has to do with the algorithms. If you have gun content, your channel will not do as well. And even if your channel is doing better than it was and you're growing the channel and you're getting more views, they'll pull your revenue. Like your cents per view, whatever, just goes down. So they just don't want firearm content on the channel. So I have to stop doing it. There will be no more gun content. I will do some knife stuff when it comes in, but most of it's going to be motorcycle, car, track days, maybe some computer gaming stuff. Anything dealing with weapons, even though they're legal, YouTube just doesn't want. I'm simply not welcome on their channel if that's the content. Even if that's what you want and what you watch, they won't reward me monetarily. So anyway, hit like and subscribe and comment. Believe it or not, the comments do help the algorithms. So what we're going to look at today is another Kizer. Kizer is one of those brands that I like a lot. I mean, I love my Spydercos. I like Victorinox. I like Benchmade. I like all kinds of stuff. Like my Medfords and the higher end, Microtechs and stuff like that. But then, I like the value lines. Now, there's the value lines as the $30 Ethan Grows and SRMs, and those are all decent knives. But then there's what I call like the value premium line. And that's going to be your Kizers, your Sevivis, things like that. These are knives that are not clones. They are their own designs. They're using premium or premium-ish materials. They're working with actual knife designers, whether it's Ray Laconica or others, that are legit knife designers and well-respected bladesmiths who have their custom lines that they may make their high, high value, high dollar, expensive customs. But then, they want to create, take one of those designs and they want to bring it to the masses in a production knife that might be anywhere from $60 up to maybe $200. And they'll go to a company like Kizer, they'll go to a company like they'll go to a company like Riat or Reich in China and say, here's my design that normally I do, like a Chris Reeve Sebenza type thing, and maybe it's $700, right? But I want you to make it and use these materials, and I want you to hit this price point. And that's where a company like Kizer comes in, and they knock it out of the frickin' park, just like Civivi and these other companies do. So before I open up this one, this is one of my favorite knives. It's using a beautiful sheep's foot type blade, really beautiful satin finish, high flat grind, really, really nice, sharp, stabby point. The ergonomics are freaking amazing. I said this was G10 in another video and someone corrected me. It's something else. I don't know. It's G10-ish. It actually feels a little bit more premium. G10 can feel good or it can feel kind of rough. It's a good material, but depending on how you do it, makes it feel cheap or not. This is something else. I forget the damn name of it, but I'll tell you, I do not have, of all the knives I own or have owned, I've never had a knife that has that smooth of an action. This isn't a loose blade. There is no play in this. This is just really nice ball bearing pivots. Everything is just really well done. This is 154 cm steel, which is a good knife steel. And it flies out. The detent is perfect. It just flies out. And as soon as you just let gravity do its work, and it just falls shut. So this is the Towser K. So I don't have a lot of Kizers. Now I say I've mixed thoughts on Kizers. Not on their quality, not on their fit and finish, not on their materials, not on their execution. Some of their designs are very small and they don't tend to fit my hands well. And so I have had some Kizers that were flippers, but then the flipper became a finger guard and it angled back and the point would cut into my finger. It just wasn't comfortable for my size hands. So I gave those away. This one I ain't giving away. This is the balls. So let's see which one struck my fancy, and I'm hoping that this falls into this category and not the other Kizers. Again, not a ding on Kizers. It's strictly an ergonomics for my hands. You may pick it up and it feels awesome. So we got a nice little case here. This kind of suede feeling thing. We got a Kizer cloth. We've got a little Kizer catalog that's got, you know, warranty information and all that stuff. You know, it's decent enough packaging, but, you know, whatever. It's packaging. The star of the show is the knife, not the box the knife came in. And it looks like they gave us extra screws with blue Loctite. So that's kind of cool. Let's open this thing up and see what it is. This knife is the, let's see, it's the Kizer T1. So I got it in Micarta. And it's nice. It's a little bit rough. Feels good. It's very thin. The blade steel. Oh, Jesus, that thing flew out. Okay. I gave it a flick, not expecting it to just whoom. So this steel, this is T1 mirror polished stainless backspacer with your lanyard, deep carry pocket clip, tension. It's a little stiff. I might loosen. I mean, it might work fine. I might loosen that up just a little bit. No hot spot the way it falls. See how that? There's literally a little crook there in my finger, and it falls right into it. So you don't even feel it. Your hand wants to naturally bend there. Ooh, I like this a lot, man. So liner lock with Micarta, ball bearings. It's not quite as smooth as that, but the opening, holy shit! I am barely touching that. I don't know how to show this. I don't know how to convey this on camera. I'm trying to see how lightly I can just push it. I'm barely, you know, if I do it like I normally do, it's like bam. It's like an automatic. But you can just lightly flick that thing, and I'm not having to flick the wrist at all. Even going straight up against gravity. It's just ridiculous how smooth that is. Engagement, good. How's the blade centering? It's typical Kizer. It's right on the goddamn money. I would say if, you know, 50-50, it's like 51-49. My eye tells me it might be a thousandth that way, but it's so close to perfect, I don't even care. Whatever. Micarta over steel liners, so it's a strong handle. It's recessed, which is nice. So back here, this is all Micarta. You're not feeling any of that steel. As opposed to here, you know, they paint it, so it's black, so it does blend in a little bit, but you can see that edge there. There is a different edge. This is entirely enclosed, and I'm kind of digging that polished stainless. I mean, that mirror polish is kind of cool. Mirror polish on the pocket clip. Blade feels really good. I might even tighten that up just a scooch. Trying to see if there's any. Yeah, I almost feel a little wobble. What is that, a T8, I imagine? Or is that a T6? Yeah, I'm going to put some Loctite on that. So we'll get that set where I want. The beauty of it being on washers is you can kind of tighten it down so you don't feel anything, but it doesn't impede the movement at all. So this is, I think this is 154 cm. So again, decent steel. It's like 3.19 inches long. The cutting edge is just at 3 inches. Overall, it comes in right at 7.5. Like, that's a good medium size EDC. That's really nice. It's smaller than that. If we put it up against a Delica, you know, it's going to be a little bigger, but it's not actually. I mean, the Delica is just about as long because the Delica's got a really long handle. But looking at side by side with the Delica, yeah, it's a bigger knife. It's not terribly bigger. Now, it does weigh a little bit more, obviously. But the steel that's in there is all lightened. It's all drilled out and stuff like that. But man, that action. Kizer is doing something special. I've got a lot of cool knives. You know, I've got my little Spydercos and stuff like that. Love this little guy, little dragonfly. I've got, you know, a lot of really good knives in my collection. Some of the cheaper value ones, but then I got the more expensive ones. And I will tell you that the actions on these two Kizers are among the best of anything that I have or anything that I've ever reviewed on this channel, which is, what, 100 knife reviews now, at least? That is just absolutely stunningly good. So let's find I'm Gonna need a new slice of paper, I think. This will be the last one here. We get out of this. Out of the box. Yeah. Very sharp. Push test. Does a push test. I won't say it does it on every part of the blade, but it was doing it. Maybe if I hadn't already cut that. Yeah, see, it does do it. I'll strop that just to take any burrs off of it, but that is a very, very serviceable, keen edge. The grinds look good. Simple Kizer logo. You got your steel type and serial number, or model number up there. And then over here, I can't even read what the hell that says, but there's something else on the blade. T1, and then it says something here in really small writing. Don't know what that is. Might be the designer's name, I would imagine. I think it is. I think this is from a specific designer. Oh, I'll throw that in the comments. I'll look that up later. I really just like how the micarta is all the way around and everything is recessed. So you don't feel any metal. There's no transitions. There's nowhere for dirt to collect along a seam. You're just feeling the fabric of that linen in the micarta. That'll layer in and give a nice patina over time. I can get just enough grip, reverse grip, very comfortable. That pocket clip is really, it's nice. It's a nice, and you don't have, what I like is it's short, so less of a hot spot. It doesn't stick out here. It's deep enough for jeans that have like a thick seam, where the seam has fabric rolled over the edge to reinforce it. But you don't have the protruding screws. What's nice is they use the flush mount screws. It looks like that is tip up left righty only, which makes me wonder why they sent over all these extra screws. I don't know what these are for. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a pivot. So there's 7 screws. I'm really not sure what this bag of screws is for. They all look roughly the same size. Some are flat, where some are domed. So I'm guessing the flat ones are replacements for that. I'm not sure why they give you spares. I don't know if they just think I'm clumsy and I'm going to lose them, but whatever. It's nice to have them. Nice stabby point. That's a cool knife. I like that a lot. It feels very premium. What was this? $53? It was under, right around $60 shipped or something from Amazon Prime. I'll put an affiliate link in the description. But that action is just absolutely mind-bogglingly good at that price point. And above the price point. I've got Benchmades. I've got Guardian Tactical. I've got all kinds of, well, I guess those are OTS, so it doesn't, not applicable. But the point is like to have a knife that is just that nice out of the box is really kind of special. I don't feel like a lot of knives have that kind of action. They're doing something with their bearings. I don't know what it is, but Kizer has like cracked that nut to make a really nice, smooth. Look at that. I don't know if I have another knife that just gravity, brand new, just does it. You get that blade, you unlock it, and just let it start to go. So here's your detent. It will catch on that, right? As soon as that detent comes over the edge of the blade, that's awesome. This one does drop a little freer, but I think it's because the blade's physically bigger. So whatever stiction, whatever rolling resistance is in those bearings, that extra weight, gravity pulling the blade down, does go a little bit smoother. Whereas this blade is a lot lighter, but still, look at that. I'm not having to flick it or to get it to come down. Once you clear that detent, you just let it go. Very, very nice. That's the T1. That's going to make it high in my rotation. I really like that. It's a little bit bigger than the paramilitary 3s and stuff that I've been carrying. It is a little wider. It is definitely a bigger knife than this, but it doesn't take up a terrible amount of room in your pocket, I wouldn't imagine. And certainly the action, you got these lockbacks. Delica's a great knife, but it opens and closes slower and, there's more friction there. But in your pocket, it's going to be thicker this way, but it's shorter by a little bit by this way because that blade sticks out there. So in your pocket, the footprint, I will say weight-wise, It's almost double the weight, but the Delica is a super light knife. This is certainly not a heavyweight, but it's not going to be a featherweight like that. It's a much thicker blade. There's more steel. There's steel liners as opposed to just plastic. And that's, I guess, my last point here is, $100+ knife, or right around $100 for the Spyderco. And it's a good knife. This is VG10 steel, but honestly, I don't know the VG10's any better than 154 CM. I would say those are comparable steels. The 154 CM might even be better. This is made in Japan. This is made in China. This is all plastic. And to get a deep carry pocket clip, I had to spend another $30 for the titanium clip. So right here, this is as configured. This is a $130 knife. This is a $55 or $60 knife with taxes. This is a stronger knife. It's thicker steel in the handle. It's got micarta, and it came with the deep carry pocket clip. As much as I love Spydercos, and I'm a huge Spyderco fanboy, I know I'm late to the party on that, but this is a fantastic knife. All my Spydercos are. Even the birds, they're cheap ones. But to have micarta and 154 CM and deep carry pocket clip with flush mount screws and everything to be this well constructed on ceramic ball bearings with some of the sweetest action you will find on a folding knife for $60. That's why a lot of times I have a hard time justifying. I buy these because I like them and I make good money and I can afford them. But if I'm recommending someone's like, hey, I want a really cool pocket knife. I don't have a ton of money to spend. My wife doesn't want me dumping, hundreds of dollars into pocket knives. I have a hard time telling someone, yeah, go spend $170 on a PM2. Go spend $450 on a well, that's not really a pocket knife. Go spend $150 on a Benchmade bug out. And that's one of my favorite knives of all time. But if someone's like, I don't want to spend a ton of money. I need to keep it, it's just a pocket knife. I just need a decent pocket knife that'll last me several years and be, decent quality and one that I'm not embarrassed to pull out. I'd have a hard time recommending the Spydercos or the Benchmades or whatever over something like this. Or something like this. This one was $70. That is a wicked, that's more of a competitor for like the sheepdogs and some of those, other style knives and stuff like that. Although competitor, it's the same brand that makes the sheepdog, which is also a sort of iconic design from a major, knife designer. Just happens to be made by Kizer for him. But that is the T1. That is just a beautiful, beautiful knife. I love the feel. It's sharp. It's sturdy. There's no hot spots. It's got a good pocket clip. Feels really good in the hand. You get good grip and purchase. And that micarta really classes it up. That blade and the grinds and stuff. This is an excellent knife. I don't know what else to say. The Kizers, I like a lot of the Sebenzas because I like their designs better. But the Kizer, they just seem like slightly more premium knives. They tend to use better steel than D2 and stuff. So I love a lot of Sebenza's designs, but I like some of the Kizers, and their materials are in the same price point, but micarta, and instead of D2 or 14 whatever C, whatever the Sandvik steel, you're getting 154 CM. It's not to like. I went long on this one, I know, but I'm gushing. This is a nice knife. So I'm just going to go over all the screws real quick off camera, make sure they're all tight. I do that with every knife. Get a little blue Loctite, make sure that your pivot's properly set and all that stuff, but out of the box, man, holy crap, what a nice knife. Kudos to them. Good job, Kizer.